Roll.
Calling the roll for the Monday, September 9, 2024 Board of Control meeting. It is 11:03 a.m. We have Levine Ross serving as an alternate for Meredith Turner,
Present.
Councilmember Dale Miller,
Here.
Trevor Meckler serving as an alternate for Purnell Jones Jr.,
Here.
Nicole English serving as an alternate for Mike Dever,
Here.
Catherine Gallagher serving as an alternate for Chris Renee, County Executive,
Here.
Lee Tucker serving as an alternate for Michael Chambers, Fiscal Officer, and as chairperson,
Here.
Paul Porter.
Here.
We have a quorum.
If we can take a second to review the minutes from the September 3rd, 2024 meeting. If there are no corrections, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. English. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any public comment?
No public comment?
Moving on to contracts and awards.
First item, BC 2024-640, Department of Public Works, recommending an award and submitting a contract with Zscape LLC in the amount not to exceed $20,000 for landscaping, snow removal, and salting services at the Cuyahoga County Animal Shelter, effective upon signatures of all parties for the period November 11, 2024 through November 10, 2025.
Good morning, everyone. Tom Pavich, Public Works. This is approval of a one-year contract with Zscape. This is for the county animal shelter, their landscaping, snow removal, and salting contract. Informal bid for contract. We had two proposals. We're going with the lowest bid.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved.
Thank you.
Next item.
Next item, BC 2024-641, Department of Equity and Inclusion, recommending an award on RQ 14044 and submitting a contract with Keene Independent Research LLC in the amount not to exceed $392,774 for a disparity study of minority and women-owned businesses in Cuyahoga County and surrounding geographic areas for the period September 17, 2024 through December 30th, 2025.
Thank you. Good morning, Lenora Lockett, Department of Equity and Inclusion. In accordance with the county code requirement to conduct a disparity study every 5 years, the Department of Equity and Inclusion proceeded with the RFP indicated. The RFP closed on March 15, 2024. 5 proposals were submitted. Those proposals were evaluated in accordance with the RFP. We are now recommending an award to the top scoring proposal. There was a 13% MBE goal. That goal was achieved with participation by a county certified MBE.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item?
Yes.
Councilman Miller?
Is this the third disparity study that we've done under the new government?
Yes, Councilman. There was a disparity study that was submitted in 2014. The most recent disparity study was 2020, and this is the third under the current government, former government.
And what were the cost amounts for the 2 previous disparity studies?
The one in 2014, we had 2 separate vendors. I would say that was approximately, the one UQuant was like 75,000 or less. Then the second phase was done by Griffin and Strong, and I believe that was under 200,000. Then in the 2020 disparity study, that was slightly under 300,000.
And so this one is almost a third more than the last one. What accounts for the increase?
The other ones were submitted, those are the, well, I can't specifically say, I just think inflation. I would like to note that the consultant that did the prior disparity study in 2014, their proposed price was at 400,000. So it seems like the economic market has just increased for this type of disparity study, for the disparity study in general. The range was for prior proposals, the lowest was at 306,000 and the highest was 502,000.
So this was a request for qualifications, and so it was not decided solely on price. It was there was a ranking on a number of criteria. Is that correct?
Correct, and it was a proposal, so there was a score for budget. So there was in that category we took in, that was worth approximately, I believe, 20 points out of 100. So a fifth of the scoring was related to budget.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there additional questions?
Lenore, this is a new vendor, right, that they didn't do the 2020 study, right?
Correct.
And is the amount, I know it's a not to exceed, but is it based on per hour, or is that what we'll end up paying for the disparity study? Are we gonna get billed on a monthly, quarterly basis based on number of hours worked, or how will billing work?
So the price is expected to be for the completion of the study with the scope of work in there. They will bill in monthly, but it is not like a cost plus fee where if they say they took more hours, that they can increase the fee. We had a scope meeting and we've had a follow-up scope meeting to get their confirmation that they have a reasonable expectation of what is included and what is available from the county as far as the data based on the methodology that they're going to use.
And then last question, when do you expect the study to be completed? I know the contract goes through 12/31/25, but when do you think it'll be completed?
Correct. The current anticipated work schedule is for the consultant to be ready to start presenting to county council in August, late September. So they expect to be ready, completing the actual study by the end of next summer. And then we wanted to build in some time so that we can follow through and have the public meetings where they present their findings and their recommendations.
So, just a comment that the county, I think, has done very well with its disparity studies. We've made progress. It's been a matter of chipping away at it and gradually strengthening the approaches used as needed and justified by the studies. To my knowledge, we've had no litigation based on disparity studies, which is certainly not true in other jurisdictions. So I commend you for your part in this good work and hope that we continue to have a good result.
And thank you for that. I can't take all the credit. It's a team effort, and usually once we get the recommendations, we work closely with the law department to make sure that we are implementing the recommendations so that they're narrowly tailored. So that, again, you can, as we know, you can get sued for any reason, but we try to make sure that we work with the expertise within our existing expertise at the county to make sure we're implementing an assertive, but within legal requirements.
Lenore, who's the MBE vendor on the project? Who they
They're
working
gonna use SA Consulting Group, and it's mainly for the outreach component where they gather data and input on the perspective of businesses within our area, the anecdotal component. So there's the statistical component of the disparity study, and there's the anecdotal, where you have to have a significant amount of input and focus groups or outreach with the businesses that are in our market.
Are they local?
Yes, they're county certified. They're county certified MBE.
Any additional questions?
Uh,
President Miller?
Just another comment that, given the current makeup of the Supreme Court, I would not be surprised if the legal architecture that we've been working on since about the late 1970s got challenged in court. It wouldn't be the first time that something that stood for 50 years or so got overturned. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but I think that risk is out there.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
Thank you. Any additional questions, comments? Hearing none, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Thank you.
Lenora.
Next item, BC 2024-642, Department of Purchasing submitting an RFP exemption which will result in a payment to Brinks US, a division of Brinks Incorporated, and the amount not to exceed $10,962.95 as final payment for armed guard and armored truck services for various county departments for the period July 1st, 2024 through July 31st, 2024, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Paul Porter, Department of Purchasing. We've had a couple of these POs come through for services rendered by Brinks while we were getting contracts in place with both Brinks and Garda. This cost covers Brinks services at locations that aren't on their contract while we were getting Garda up to speed. Both vendors are now under contract, so the goal would be that we wouldn't have POs like this coming forward in the future. It's, again, just used to cover ones that weren't being served by Garda until they were able to kind of fully staff up and serve the locations they're under contract for.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2024-643, Department of Information Technology submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Integrated Precision Systems Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $27,091.34 for a state contract purchase of equipment, installation, and programming services for 4 access control devices, 3-door intercoms, and 1 master intercom station, and under the desk door release for the Cuyahoga County Airport, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Dennis Sullivan, Department of IT. As Cheryl just read into the record, IPS is our IT standard for surveillance and video. The exemption is state term pricing, and this installation is at the county airport.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Councilman, Ms. Ross. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2024-644, Department of Information Technology submitting an RFP exemption which will result in award recommendation to M&J Technologies Direct Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $29,808 for a state contract purchase of 81 Meraki MR Enterprise Cloud Controller licenses for a period of 5 years, effective Board of Control approval, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning again, Dennis Sullivan, Department of IT. M&J is providing state term pricing. The wireless access project is ongoing. You may recall you had the same number of pieces of hardware, the actual access points, just recently approved. This is the corresponding licensing.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Mr. McAleer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2024-645, Department of Information Technology on behalf of the Sheriff's Department submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Integrated Precision Systems Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $5,945.50 for state contract purchase of equipment, installation, and programming services for 5 replacement access video converters for Jail 2 elevators, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Dennis Sullivan again, Department of IT. This installation is at the sheriff's, it's at the Jail 2 elevators. The converters convert digital to analog on the surveillance video, and they've been having some hiccups. So this is to replace it before it's a problem.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Porter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2024-646, Department of Information Technology submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to M&J Technologies Direct Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $110,830 for a state contract purchase of 510 Zoom Enterprise Conferencing and Audio licenses, includes 1 each pay-as-you-go audio conference with overage protection for use by various departments for a period of 12 months, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Again, Dennis Sullivan, Department of IT. M&J is providing state term pricing. This is a IT standard platform for conferencing, and this is countywide.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Mr. McAleer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next, item BC 2024-647, Department of Information Technology submitting an RFP exemption which will result in award recommendation to M&J Technologies Direct Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $129,800 for a state contract purchase for the renewal of 1,000 Nitro Pro business licenses for the period November 13, 2024 through November 12, 2025, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Dennis Sullivan, Department of IT. M&J is providing state term pricing. This is the PDF IT standard countywide.
Thank you. Any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Porter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next, item BC 2024-648, Department of Information Technology submitting an RFP exemption which will result in award recommendation to Carasoft Technology Corporation in the amount not to exceed $41,680.10 for the purchase of 110 Slack Enterprise Grid licenses for the period August 13, 2024 through August 12, 2025, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Dennis Sullivan, Department of IT. The exemption is due to the effective date. It does have to start the 13th. Slack is the IT and also the state standard. This software is used between the state and the IT personnel, county IT personnel, for all emergency and cross communications.
Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next, item BC 2024-649, Department of Information Technology submitting an RFP exemption which will result in a payment to Nexum Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $99,782.36 for the purchase of F5 premium support services for 4 firewalls located at the Cleveland and Columbus data centers for the period October 21st, 2024 through October 20th, 2025, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Dennis Sullivan, Department of IT. Nexum presently has our contract, has our agreement. This is also for existing services already, and that's the basis of the exemption. This is firewall protection between the data centers.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Ross. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next, item BC 2024-650, Department of Information Technology submitting an amendment to a contract with Provado LLC for sourcing of temporary information technology staff augmentation services for the period December 7, 2020 through December 6, 2024, to extend the time period to December 6, 2027, to amend the insurance requirements and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $450,000 effective upon contract signatures of all parties.
Dennis Sullivan, Department of IT. This is an amendment for the Bravado contract that's used by Web and Multimedia Development. It is a not to exceed amount, and it is billed strictly on the use.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item?
Yes, to what extent is this for services that are needed on a regular and ongoing basis, or to what extent is it for things that we need for a while and then don't need for a while? And
Dale, to answer your question directly, one of the questions earlier submitted was the difference between the staff and that, and the answer from Jeremy Williams, the director of that area, is that they're able to, through this contract, that's why the not to exceed amount may not be reached, may be reached, but it's invoiced on usage. They're able to tap into expertise when they need it. So there's nothing on a regular basis. There's not anything as you would consider maintenance. It's per project, per whatever needs to be done. That can't be handled in-house.
okay,
Any additional questions?
yes. What approximately is the staff rate on an hourly basis?
I'd have to get back to you on that. I'll get that to Cheryl.
Okay, fine.
No questions? Hearing none, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Thank you.
Next item, BC 2024-651, Court of Common Pleas Juvenile Court Division, submitting an amendment to a contract with Equius Group LLC to provide diversity, equity, and inclusion training sessions for court staff for the period May 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2024, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2026, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed, for additional funds in the amount of $173,000.
Good morning, Sharon Allen, Juvenile Court. This is a contract amendment for diversity, equity, and inclusion, training and consultation for court staff, and is 100% funded by the Reclaim Grant to add funds in the amount of $173,000 and to extend the time period of the contract from July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2024-652, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services recommending an award on RQ 14335 and submitting a purchase order with Ameristar Parameter Security USA Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $402,562.15 for the purchase of various bollards for the Huntington Convention Center of Cleveland.
Good morning, Mary Beth Vaughn from Public Safety. As Cheryl's mentioned, these are for bollards for the convention center. We competitively bid this twice. We are making an award recommendation to the lowest cost compliant vendor. And these bollards are going to be installed at the lakeside entrance and partially down, if you think of us as a wing. So it'll be across lakeside and down either side.
Are there any questions on this item? Hearing no questions, I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. English. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved.
Thank you.
Moving on to consent agenda items.
Consent agenda items are BC 2024-653 through BC 2024-654.
We can take a moment to review. Are there any questions on these items? Hearing no questions, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda items. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on, is there any public comment?
There's no other business and no public comment.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. Thank you.
We should vote on the motion to.
Aye. I'm
Aye.
in favor.
In favor.